Here on Snazzy Labs, in the past, we've talked about Mac apps, Mac tips, really everything related to the Mac, except for Mac packages installed via the command line. What on earth am I talking about? Well, it's Homebrew, baby. Homebrew for the Mac, and to an extent Linux, is a package manager. If you're on Linux, there's a lot better options out there. But it basically allows you to install little tiny programs, typically for nerds and developers, via the command line, the macOS terminal, that you can run via the terminal without a graphical user interface, but tools that to an extent are very, very powerful, some of which super cool. This tutorial is Mac focused, but pretty much all of these will work on Linux, and most of them will work on Windows too. You just might not want to use Homebrew and instead find another package manager for your operating system. So if you are on the Mac, you're going to need to download Homebrew, and the easiest way is to go to their website, brew.sh, and you just click this little clipboard here. Then open up your terminal, paste that command, and boom, baby. This is a curl command, which is going to basically fetch a script, this install.sh file, from this GitHub user content.com domain, and then it's going to run through this huge, massive installer that you don't have to do anything about. It does it all for itself in the background. So it's going to ask for sudo access, super user access, your admin password. So you're just going to go ahead here and enter your computer password. This script is going to install, and I'm just going to say return. Go ahead. This takes a few minutes. So, see you in a minute. Okay, it's done. But maybe it's not done, because dependent on your machine, you likely have next steps. On my machine, it says, run these two commands in your terminal to add Homebrew to your path. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy this little string, these two commands, just Command C, and then I'm going to Command V to paste it. I'm going to push go, and there we go. It's done. All right, now I'm finished. So let's actually start installing stuff. And let's start by showing you how to install something. You are going to summon Homebrew by typing brew. And then we need to give Homebrew a command. If you want to know what the commands available are, you can just type, and this is true of almost all command line packages, -h and or -help. And it's going to tell you everything that you can do with Homebrew. So you can search for packages, you can get info on a package, you can install a package, you can update. Hey, install. That sounds like something we need to do. So I'm going to type brew, install, and now I need to name the package I want to install. The first one is not a fun one, but it's one that you'll probably need because it's a dependency for most of the packages we're going to be talking about today, and that's Python. Python is a programming language. Python 2 ships on your Mac by default, but Python 3 is something that we're going to need. So we just type brew, install, Python, we push enter, and well, Homebrew is going to download Python 3 and install it onto our operating system in its own little containerized package. All these things kind of take a few seconds to do, so see you in a minute again. Okay, Python is installed. Time for some fun. If you ever get kind of overwhelmed by your terminal window, if there's too much crap going on, you can get rid of everything that's already been completed by just typing clear. You can also close the window and open a new terminal session, but clear is pretty easy. Okay, the first app I want to show you is MAILSY. You install it by typing brew, install, MAILSY, and it's going to install. This takes a minute. And clear. Okay, MAILSY generates temporary email addresses. This is super cool. Check this out. MAILSY, and we're just going to type G for generate. It's going to go out and do its little thing on the internet and create a new email address for us. It is K38CUD@aguarudstone.com. Have you ever been to a website that's pretty sus and you don't really want to give them any detail, but you do want to sign up? It's like for a mailing list or for a promo code or a free trial, and you don't want them bugging you. And so you go to like Temp Mail or one of those crappy websites that's infested with ads. Yeah, here you go. Problem solved. Ad free. In fact, there's not even any GUI. So I'm going to go ahead and test this out. I'm going to type this email, and it does say, be cautious about sending this information. Oh, that's because of Google. Never mind. Ignore that. You're not in a Google workspace. So I'm going to say subject, hello, buddy. And I'm going to go to sub to me on YouTube. HTTPS. Probably don't need to type that, but whatever. SnazzyLabs.com, which doesn't go to my YouTube, but that's fine. I'm going to push send, and I'm going to fetch that email by typing MAILSY, M for messages. And check it out. It says, select an email. I can just use my arrow keys to go up and down if I've got multiple. It's already selected hello buddy from q@snazzylabs.com. So I'm going to push enter. It's going to fetch it again. And it actually opens in a local HTML page. So it will show you graphics and pictures and metadata and everything that's attached to a regular email just here on your webpage. But you can see there's a URL, I can click it, it works, and yeah, that's pretty much it. While not Homebrew software, today's sponsor, Clean My Mac, is an indispensable app that I install on every Mac and have for years. They're not paying me to say that. I am actually a paying subscriber of Clean My Mac and have been long before they sponsored. At 10,000 feet up, you push this button and it scans your system. It goes through your disk and finds old library files and caches, crap you just don't need anymore. It scans your system for viruses and malware, and it allows you to optimize your system by, checking to make sure that you don't have login items or launch agents that shouldn't be opening anymore. You can see your heavy consumers. You can clear out stuff via RAM. It's really, that's what most people talk about. But the three things that I really love about Clean My Mac that keep getting better and better are the uninstaller. There are a lot of uninstallers for Mac, and there are some really good ones that are free and paid, but I don't find any of them to be as good as Clean My Mac. When you drag an application from the applications folder to the trash, it's leaving behind so much crap. plist files, weird old library resources. This gets rid of everything. It really uninstalls stuff. And on the opposite end of the spectrum, the Updater is of pinnacle excellence. Not only does it update stuff from the Mac App Store, because that's not special, the Mac App Store itself can do that, but it will go out and find updates for third-party software that you've downloaded from the web. You don't have to go and download some creepy, weird DMG and it just does it for you in the background. It's so cool. The Space Lens is probably my favorite feature. It's similar to an app that's been around for ages and ages called Grand Perspective. But Grand Perspective is ugly, and it will let you create irreversible harm to your machine. It will let you delete stuff that you should not delete. I think this is a much better way to visually see what's taking up the most space on your system. The bigger the file, the bigger the bubble, the bigger the resources. So I can drill into my system and find out what is it that is actually taking up all the system space on my disk. And the end result is that you can kind of just be messy. I leave the mess to Clean My Mac, and it takes care of the rest. There is this menu bar icon too that I also really like. This is newer and I think super great. Not only can you do much of what the main app can do, but you can also see information that's not presented to you from Control Center. So I can open up this battery widget and not only see my battery health, but I can see how many charge cycles I've had, the temperature of my battery. I can do a speed test of my network connection directly from this little pane. It's always running in the background, taking care of me and my Mac. And Snazzy Labs viewers, and this sounds not that interesting. It sounds like a call to action. It is, but this is really cool, okay? This app doesn't go on sale that often, but they are giving Snazzy Labs viewers over the next 2 weeks a 20% discount on Clean My Mac. You should really go check it out. It is genuinely an app that I've bought and paid for years. It's fantastic. I don't plan to unsubscribe anytime soon, and I think if you download it, you'll like it. You can try it free using the link below. Next up, TASKELL, an app that is absolutely amazing and I've been using because I hate to-do list apps. They suck. This one doesn't. Brew, install, TASKELL. This will take a minute. Nope, apparently not. 85 megabytes, just like that. Isn't the modern internet amazing? Okay, I want to show you something that you're going to want to know, because if you're not familiar with Vim, which you're probably not if you are not familiar with the terminal, you're going to need to learn Vim and or go into TASKELL settings to set your own key bindings for commands in navigating the TASKELL interface. Let me explain how to do this. Type brew and then type info, because this is asking Homebrew, hey, we just installed TASKELL and we want information on this package we just installed. So type info and then, yes, of course, TASKELL. We push enter and it gives us a little bit of information, but what you'll see most importantly is that it gives us the directory of this installation. Now, if you're comfortable with the command line here, you can just cd into that directory, list the files, and then there you go, open the README from there. If that didn't make any sense to you, don't worry. What you can do is go to the Finder and navigate to the Go menu, and then click Go to Folder. Shift-Command-G also works. And then you will paste this same string into this window, and check it out. This directory that we're viewing inside of the terminal is now just present in a regular Finder window. You're going to want to read the README file. This is in a markdown format, which unfortunately macOS doesn't know how to read, but it's just a text file. So if you just type .txt instead, then you can open this up. If you have a markdown reader, do it because it's much more organized and handsome looking. But this gives us information about what to do and how to use this app. All the key commands, everything you need to know, and there's a settings or preferences file that you can modify to your heart's content. But once you've done that, I want to show you what TASKELL can do because it's really powerful. You prompt it by typing TASKELL. It's going to, because I'm launching this for the first time, ask me if I want to create a markdown little sheet. It's technically a database just inside of a text file. I'm going to push yes. And this takes me to this very handsome window that if you have any familiarity with, what's it called, Trello or a Kanban system, is right that. It's a to-do, doing, and done. Just a task list. So I'm going to start typing by pushing the letter A. That allows me to move my cursor into prompt. This is Vim stuff, so learn Vim. If you haven't learned Vim, it'll help you a lot in the terminal. But I'm going to type, make video for tomorrow. I'm going to type go to store. I'm going to type go to GameStop and buy frozen ham. Okay. Then once I've done all the tasks I want to create, I just push the escape key and I can now navigate between these tasks by using my J and K keys. This is the same kind of interaction method you'd have with Vim. So I'm going to say, okay, I have some things that I need to have as subtasks for my going to the store. So I'm going to push the Enter key and you'll see that it opens this new window, which is pretty cool. If I push the A key again, I can start entering subtasks. This is so neat. This is all within the terminal. So I can say eggs, beef, milk, cow, I don't know. Okay. And then I can push the escape key when I'm done completing my task and I can just same deal, navigate up and down with J and K. I've got my beef. I've got my milk. I'm ready to rumble. Let's say this has a due date. Actually, no, let's go to my make video for tomorrow because this one definitely has a due date. I can type the @ key and just say, this is due in 1 day. There you go. It assigns it a due date right here in the window. And because this is a Kanban, you can have a list of progress inside of this window. So I technically, inside of my go to store list, have already completed some of the items. I'm doing this. So I'm going to push the M key for move, and I'm going to say I'm moving this to the doing category. If I want to go back to this other list and go down to GameStop and say, okay, well, I actually bought my frozen ham, I can just push move, done. And then I can set within the parameters of how I want this to look because, again, TASKELL is infinitely adjustable. I can add more columns. I can change the way it looks. I can change the behaviors on when stuff moves over automatically, when the list is cleared out. It's so powerful, and yet it's so simple. It's just reading from a text document alongside your local desktop. And yeah, it's the best to-do list ever. There's no ads. There's no bloatware. It's wicked fast. And if you know Vim, it just uses Vim key bindings. It's so awesome. TASKELL. I love it. If you're sitting there in your chair thinking, I'm overwhelmed, this is too complicated, let me give you a simple one. Brew, install, SPEEDTEST-CLI. Okay, SPEEDTEST.net, everyone's used it, right? We know it's a great service. It's a good way to check out your internet speed, but the browser version kind of sucks. It's infested with ads. It's slow to load. Its server selection is oftentimes questionable. And as we demonstrated in a prior video of ours, if you have really fast internet, the browser, not your internet speed, is actually the bottleneck in your results. It's not very good. And so you want to use SPEEDTEST-CLI instead. You type the command and holy crap, it just automatically uses the fastest server near you. It starts the download speed, it starts the upload speed, and we'll see here that my internet here at work is a lot less good than the internet I have at home, 200 megabits a second. I'm also on Wi-Fi. Not bad. This is SPEEDTEST-CLI. Of course, as with everything, you can go into SPEEDTEST-CLI and then do space-H for help, and it will tell you all of the special commands you can use if you want to use a specific server, if you want to have a certain package size, or yada, yada, yada. It's really powerful, but it's also really simple. SPEEDTEST-CLI. Like it or not, ChatGPT is probably here to stay. So, brew, install ATA, ask the terminal anything. ATA is a super simple way to chat with ChatGPT, which at the end of the day, an LLM, just a chatbot. I don't need some super complex app. I don't really want to use the web browser. The terminal is the perfect place. So once I've installed it, I just type ATA, and what you'll see is that it's prompting you to create an example file. This is a configuration file, a .toml file. And it says, hey, do you want me to put one in your application support folder? Yeah, great place for it. So I'm just going to type, yeah. Once I type, yeah, it's going to say, okay, I wrote that file there. I'm going to copy this entire string with the quotes because application support has a space in it and that's complicated. Just when you have paths and long stuff, just put it inside of quotes, okay? So I am going to use Nano or Vim to edit this file. And there we go. I've typed it out and I now have the option to insert my API key. I'm just going to arrow over and I am going to erase the your secret API key. and I am going to put mine inside of quotes. Okay, I've got it copied to the clipboard, and I'm going to paste it into this field. Don't look at mine. Okay, if you're using Nano, you're going to press Control-O to write out, then you push Enter, and then you push Command-X, Control-X to exit. Control-Command, Escape, Option, they're all the same key. All right, now that I've created my configuration file, I just type ATA, and it's going to say, hey, buddy, what do you want to talk about? This is the prompt. I'm going to clear this out just so it looks a little bit better, okay? Just so you see what you're looking at here. So there's our prompt. It can tell us that we're using the GPT 3.5 Turbo model, but you can go between ChatGPT 4, whatever version you want. You can change the token limit size, the temperature. It's really, really, really cool because it's just a regular API terminal. You can do whatever you want. So I'm going to go in here and say, I'm writing a YouTube video about how beans make people grow more bigger. Give me the best 5 titles and make them sparkle. Mr. Beast style. Okay, I push enter, and it's going to respond with properly formatted answers. It's really great because whatever it responds with on the web, bullet points, indentations, all of that exists inside of ATA. It's fantastic that it writes that all out. And there you go. That's all I need to do. Once I'm done talking to ChatGPT, I just push Command or Control-C, the prompt goes away, and then if I ever want to speak to it again, I just open a terminal window, type ATA, and boom, I'm there. It's faster than navigating to the web by like a long shot. It's a fantastic way to chat with ChatGPT. Next up has been one of my favorites for years. Brew install Wi-Fi-Password. You can actually do this from within the macOS 10 keychain now, but it's still so convoluted and confusing to find, especially since they still put the keychain inside of the awful, not system preferences, system settings app, which has been ruined inside of macOS Ventura and Sonoma and whatever the heck we're on now. This is a much better way to do it. What it does, very simply, is it tells you your Wi-Fi password. So I'm going to type Wi-Fi-password. It's going to ask me for my user authentication because I am ultimately requesting, information that's inside of my keychain. So I'm just going to type my username. I'm going to type my password and check it out. It pastes my password right here. That's for my existing Wi-Fi hotspot. But what if I want the answer to a Wi-Fi hotspot that I haven't used in a while, or my home Wi-Fi or my friend's Wi-Fi? Well, you just type Wi-Fi-password, and then inside of quotes, you put the SSID. So I'm going to type the one I have at my house. I'm going to type it inside of quotes, and then it's going to ask me the same thing. I'll have to re-authenticate. I type my username and password, and boom, there it is. That's super neato. Of course, you can just copy the text from right here, but what you could also do if you wanted to is at the end of your argument, you can just amend PB copy, and that will copy the password to your clip chain. It's really simple. Clip chain, clipboard. It's really simple, doesn't do much, just copies your password, tells you what your password is, but that could be handy to know, especially when you got friends over. This next one is one that's had its feature set massacred by Apple a little bit over the years, but I still really like it. Brew install MAS for Mac App Store. Okay, I'm using a machine right now that doesn't have anything installed, obviously, because I use most of these utilities. So this is just some laptop with nothing on it. So it's not going to seem very impressive when I show you this, but try it on your own Mac and you'll find that it's actually pretty awesome. MAS is the Mac App Store, but via the command line. The Mac App Store sucks. It was designed in like 2007, and I don't think they've touched it since then. It's way worse than the iOS App Store, and this allows you to kind of circumvent it. So what I can do, first of all, is list the apps that I have installed by the Mac App Store. Again, you will not have 0 apps like me because this is not my computer. It will list your computers out, or list your things out. What I can also do is search for a specific app that I want to install. So I could say MAS search, and then I can type the term that I want to search for. So let's do Slack, okay? It goes boop, 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 and then it finds a bunch of apps that match these search preferences, first of which is Slack. So I can just copy that app ID, and then I can just go to MAS install. I type the identifier ID, and it is going to start to install Slack in the background without me having to do anything. I don't have to go to the store. I don't have to like re-download it. I have to donate the cloud thing. It just does it, which is so, so nice. Another really handy feature of this app, sorry, Slack, I'm going to kill your installation, is I'm going to go to MAS and then type outdated. This does exactly what it sounds like. It will search for all of the apps that you've got installed on your Mac through the App Store, and it's going to go, hey, these ones, not up to date. And then with a single command, you can just type MAS upgrade. It will upgrade all of the apps that you have installed that need updates. This is super cool for a couple of reasons. Number one, I find that the Mac App Store just literally oftentimes takes hours or days to reflect on the fact that there are new updates. They're installed on your machine. If you go to the product page, it's like, open this app. And then after 2 seconds, it's like, oh, hold on, there's an update. Do you want the update? There are some apps that I use that need updates like fast. And the Mac App Store, if you just leave it to auto install, will take like days to upgrade apps, even though it should be upgraded minutes after they become available. You type MAS upgrade, it will go and permanently fetch all of those directly from the servers. It doesn't go through that stupid, like, oh, were there any updates? It skips through the system. It's a fantastic way to get apps updated right now. It's a lot more powerful than that. It used to do a lot more things, but well, just like every other app, if you want to know what it does, you type MAS help. Maybe not. MAS help. MAS help. MAS H. MAS help. Wow. That's one of the few that doesn't use that. You just keep typing until it works. Next up, MPV. Brew, install, MPV. MPV is an open source video player that has been popular for many, many years. Of course, there's INA on the Mac. There's the very obvious VLC that's been around for ages. MPV is probably my favorite. Even though the UI isn't the most beautiful, I find that it works the best on Apple Silicon. Lip syncing and using really high resolution video that's in weird codecs works better on MPV than anywhere else. And while they have a GUI-based version that you can just download and install like any other app, I like the command line version. It just works really, really simply. And it also takes, apparently, a really long time to install. All right, Muad'Dib, listen up. You type MPV, you press space, you throw in whatever file you want, literally. Any video file you want that's not natively read by macOS, or if you don't want to open it in QuickTime, because whoever wants to do that, you push enter and boom, instantly it opens and starts playing back. This is MPV. It is, that's not me, by the way. That's my brother. He's cuter than me, I know. Been bitter about it my whole life. Anyway, inside of these menus, you have the ability to do everything you would be able to do in the version downloaded from the web. It supports all the hotkeys and commands you're familiar with, but it just works so well. Audio sync is always dead on. It consumes basically no system resources. It's fantastic. Better than VLC, if you ask me, and better than INA, although not quite as pretty. I know what you've been thinking. Where are the text character-based games? Well, buddy, brew, install C2048. It goes ahead, it installs rapidito, and then you type 2048, and that's right, bud, it's 2048, the game. You just use arrow keys to play 2048. That's literally all there is to it. What do you want more? Is this not good enough for you? It's good enough for me. All right, I gotta beat this level. See you later. If you've ever had a problem with something on your Mac and you've gone to Activity Monitor to try and kill it, you might notice that Activity Monitor is the biggest piece of crap on the planet. I'm still waiting. There we go. It's like, come on, Apple. What the heck? Task Manager for Windows, way better than Activity Monitor. And Activity Monitor just continues to get worse. It doesn't provide you like any useful information. You can't actually kill half the system processes that it says you can kill. It sucks. And so what Apple has available inside of the terminal is called TOP. The problem with TOP is that, I mean, look at it. This thing is freaking confusing as all get out, and it's uglier than dirt. So I'm going to show you how to install something much cooler. Brew, install, HTOP. H stands for ha. It's more better. I don't actually know what it stands for, but you type HTOP and there you go. Now we have a good looking list that using hotkeys alone, we can sort our processes by usage. We can see our per thread and per core usage up here, which is fantastic. You can't see that in the regular Activity Monitor, which is freaking asinine. And you can actually, from a system level, using sudo commands, kill processes that are hung up, which is way better than inside of Activity Monitor because it's like, oh, I killed it, but then it's still broken, and then you ultimately have to restart your Mac to get things working again. The HTOP is just so much better. It takes a little bit of time to learn, but it's so good. Just use it and be happy. Oh, this is a really interesting video about, wait, this is an ad. Holy crap. There's just like a dating ad over here. Kamala, 5'5" slim brunette with medical degree. I am a sincere, kind, and cheerful girl. Wow, what has this website come to? Who has this as a job? All right, look, here's the thing. Pay for YouTube Premium. It helps pay our bills and the bills of your favorite creators. But if you don't want to do that, I'm going to show you how to get around the system. Use an ad blocker and YT-DLP. So YT-DLP used to be called YouTube DL. You type brew, install YT-DLP, and it will download the thing. But mine's already installed because I just installed it actually with MPV. MPV, remember how I just said it was freaking awesome? Well, you can actually download videos from YouTube directly from within MPV. It's awesome. But I'm going to show you how to do it the old-fashioned way. Type YT-DLP and then in quotes, put the URL of the video you want to download. You push enter and we'll check it out, little brother. It's just downloading exactly what I want to download. Now, you'll notice that this is downloading in a .webm format. WebM is a little bit tricky because it's not natively read by macOS. So what you could do is throw that directly into MPV, or if you want to download a specific MP4 version, well, guess what? YT-DLP has got your back because this thing can do 50 bajillion things. Whatever you think it can do, it can do. It can even, by the way, don't do this. This is a jerk move because Clean My Mac X pays my bills if you don't. It even has sponsor block integration. So if you wanted to cut a certain part out of a video, but still download the video, you could do that. Like this thing can do anything. It can download any codec, any length. It can put it anywhere you want. It's so, so powerful, like overwhelmingly so, but it's cool. YT-DLP, just pay for premium, you cheap son of a gun. You know how I just said YT-DLP is super powerful, but a little bit confusing? Yeah, well, augment that by 50 billion times and you get ImageMagick, one of the most powerful utilities I've ever used. Brew, install, ImageMagick. If there is an image format that you have, ImageMagick can work with it. It can convert it. Doesn't matter if it's 90 million years old, it will work because the app itself is 100 million years old. Did you know that it's actually older than human species? Way older than computers. You launch it by just typing magic, okay? And then you give it a file format that you want to convert. .arw is a Sony RAW image file format, and you can actually see here that macOS can natively read it, but this works for images that macOS has no freaking idea what they are. Doesn't matter. You throw it in there, and then I just type my output image. I'm going to say, call this one bababoo.jpg, okay? It exports to the desktop. It takes a few seconds, and there you go. That is a JPEG variant of the raw image that I had processed. But you can go a lot further than this. I'm going to take that same file, type magic again, and I am going to, let's say, resize this by a lot. I want it 20% of its original size, and then I'm going to name this babab.png. And there you go. I press the spacebar, and you can see in the quick look preview, it's much smaller because it's a much smaller sized file. You can give it a lot more parameters than this, not just the exact resolution you want exported, but basically, seriously, almost anything. You can do GIFs, you can do color management, you can change the bit mapping, you can do like decorating, and you can put images on top of it, you can put shapes on there, you can draw on it, you can do like just crazy processing, you can... It's insane. ImageMagick can do anything. And in fact, it is often the engine that lays beneath most image conversion pieces of software. So they take ImageMagick, which is open source and free to use, and then they just put a little bit of Chrome on top, a nice little window, and they go, thank you, 50 bucks. ImageMagick is amazing. It's free, and there are GUIs available if you want some of the more powerful stuff, because it gets complicated fast from the command line if you want to do crazy stuff. But I use it all the time for just resizing and for changing file formats, and it's fantastic. Well, thanks so much for watching. Let me know in the comments down below if I've missed a homebrew package that you use all the time. Thank you so much for watching. I already said that. Get out of here. Stay snazzy.